Hey, what's up guys? Rob from the Beard Club here. I have some very exciting news today. We are heading out to film the first episode of the Beard Club's new video series called Before the Beard. So this video series is going to be about hanging out and chatting with some really cool bearded guys and getting to know them, getting to know their story, asking them, you know, what's been the biggest difference between being bearded and being not bearded, although I can't imagine there being anything good about not being bearded. But anyway, we're gonna chat with them, we're gonna get to know them, we're gonna get to hear their story, what they do for a living, the impact that they're having in their communities. And so today is the first episode. Today I am heading out to Newark, New Jersey. We are going to be filming with Mike Steadman. This dude is badass. He is a boxing coach. He is a corporate trainer. He's having a huge impact in Newark. He's getting the kids off the streets, and he's a bearded dude. So we're super excited to go sit with him and hang out with him and get to know him and share his story with you guys. So let's do it.
We came a long way, that's what the song say. And I could do all things, I could do all things. Yeah, I could do all things, yeah. We came a long way, that's what the song say. And I could do all things, I could do all things. I can do all things.
Mike,
what's up, man?
What's up, man? Great to see you.
Distance,
social distancing it up. Mike, thanks for coming out today. Really appreciate you taking time.
Thanks for having me.
I know you're a busy guy.
No, never too busy.
Let's give him a little bit. You and I know each other through some, through Job Path, through GI Go Fund.
Yep.
We do some work with veterans. So let's just give everyone an introduction to your background and who you are. So where you're from, what you've done.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So again, like you said, my name is Mike Steadman. I go by Iron Mike Steadman these days. Originally from College Station, Texas. Had the opportunity to go to United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, and got introduced to the sport of boxing. Ended up becoming really good at it. Was a 3-time national boxing champion, 2-time most valuable boxer, and became captain of my boxing team senior year. While I was at Annapolis, I spent a lot of time in inner city boxing gyms in Baltimore, DC, Virginia, the Bronx, Brooklyn. Just really fell in love with that environment, being in the inner city gyms. And when I graduated the academy, I got commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Marines.
Wow. And
became an infantry officer, deployed to Afghanistan in 2012, Japan and the Philippines in 2014. And as I was preparing to transition out, I go back on that experience I had boxing and being at those inner city gyms that always stuck with me, because when I would go train at these gyms, a lot of the young men and women there, they didn't have a lot of life aspirations outside of the ring. And that always bothered me. I always wanted it, so I would ask them like, hey man, where do you see yourself in the future? And a lot of them would be like, well, I just want to turn pro, because that's the only opportunity they thought they had.
Right,
and I thought that was a broken system, and so that had always stuck with me. And so when I got ready to transition out, I was looking to start my own inner city amateur boxing program with a pathway outside of the pros, whether towards going to college, starting your own business, something along those lines. And I relocated to Newark, New Jersey, took a job working at a private school, and was coaching kids around town, just kind of training at different gyms, train them in the park. And then in about a year after I moved here, I ended up launching a boxing gym myself called the Ironbound Boxing Academy.
Ironbound Boxing?
Yeah, so one of the neighborhoods in Newark is called Ironbound, and I got a free space from the city of Newark.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I approached the city of Newark and let them know I wanted to do a boxing gym. I said it wouldn't cost them anything. We just needed a space. They gave us a thumbs up, put us in the back of a rec center in the Ironbound, and we launched the Ironbound Boxing Academy.
Wow.
And so since then, I do Ironbound Boxing full time. We have a for-profit and a non-profit arm. I teach boxing as a form of employee wellness to companies in the New York City metro area. WeWork, Spotify, NextJump, Cargo.com, all these different places, with the way to basically just cover my expenses while we grow the nonprofit.
And you go to them, right? And you're teaching them.
Yeah,
well, before all this
prior to the
happened,
pandemic, we used to train them on site. So, train the CEOs of the company, train their staff. But now, because of the pandemic, everything is virtual.
Right,
so we run virtual boxing classes every week.
Wow. And how's that been going otherwise?
It's going, it's a hustle.
Yeah.
It's not as fun. Like the kind of boxing I teach is not really like, I always have to remind like our clients online that like I'm not Billy Blanks and this ain't Tybo. Like I like teaching the sweet science, the Jack Dempsey.
Cue the Tybo clip.
Yeah, I like Jack Dempsey, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, like that style of boxing. And so it's hard to kind of do it over Zoom. Every time people expect that like group cardio boxing classes. Yeah. But we're kind of crafting our own and we're making it work.
Yeah. I always laugh when I see like, social distancing, jiu-jitsu. I'm like, do you understand how jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Kills me. But so Marines, beard, no beard Marines?
So,
I'm gonna say no, right?
Yeah, when I was in the Marines, it's funny, you know, you talked early on about like the stigma with the beards and how it's not professional. And as an officer, right, like that's kind of like what I was sold to. So, you know, especially as veterans, we know the story. A lot of veterans struggle when they transition, can't really get a job and all this kind of stuff. And so I associated the beard as one of the reasons, you know, because all the Marines, they get out and they grow a big old beard, but then complain that they can't find a job. But when I got out and, you know, once I became an entrepreneur, it's like my confidence just started to grow. And I realized a lot of those boundaries that were, I thought were real weren't true, you know, because I think like if you're a professional and you're good at your job, you're good at what you do, like I don't think it really should matter, you know, what you look like.
Yeah, if you're performing and you're getting things done, what does it matter? Yeah.
And so I feel like once I quit my job to focus on Ironbound full time, I was just growing, and I grew out a beard, and it's just been with me ever since. And
so you've definitely felt the difference between confidence level between not having a beard and now being
100%. I feel like it happened at the same time. As the moment I was like betting on myself to kind of, you know, because I jumped out the airplane without a parachute. I'm still building a parachute on the way down.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to that.
But my confidence is kind of going up the longer I'm in the fight. And it's like right when I made that jump, one of the first things I did was I just grew out a beard. And it's just kind of, I think it epitomizes that transformation. And it's funny because people that knew me before, you know, before the entrepreneurship, before the beard, they're like, you're a whole different person now. Even the ladies, you know.
Dude, I always laugh and I always joke, and all the guys at the beer club, they always laugh. I say, a beard gives you a handicap. If you're a little overweight and you walk into a bar, you're a 4 or 5. You're a little bit overweight and you walk into a bar with a beard, you're like 7, 8, depending on how it is. It's a handicap.
100%.
But I totally relate. I mean, even when I left my job in corporate America and started my own business, I grew the beard out. And it's not like you're hiding behind it. It's more of like, no, this is who I am. You're putting it out front, and the confidence level comes from, you know, it's really you deciding to live a life the way you want to live it. And part of that is just wearing a beard and not really caring about what the old, you know, society stigma, you know, was. So,
and I feel like in the environment we're in too, especially like as entrepreneurs in the New York City metro area, businessmen kind of has a certain look to it. And so when we can go into a room and hold our own, you know, and add value and just show off business acumen with a beard, looking fresh, confident, mohawk fade, you know, I love it. People hit me up all the time. They're like, man, I saw you on TV. And it's like, I just go being myself, you know, I don't try to hide anything anymore.
You don't got to act, you don't got to put on be a certain role.
Just confidence.
So what's the future hold for I'm Mike Steadman?
A couple things, you know, still building out our for-profit arm because it's going to be a pathway for us to employ the youth and young adults we serve. So like one of our boxers, his name's Keith, you know, he's already teaching clients right now, able to generate income teaching boxing. So I want to build that up and build that brand and make it a national brand. Also on the nonprofit side of the house, we're committed to funding free amateur boxing programs for youth and young adults all over the country. We're starting here in Newark, got to make sure Newark's right. All our programming and everything is free, but I do think this is something that we can do at a larger scale too. And one of the things I'm most excited about recently is we just launched our Thrive initiative. So I think you need 3 things in this life to thrive. You need good health and wellness, which you get through boxing. You need an entrepreneurial mindset, which people need to learn now, if anything, from COVID, because you need to be able to generate income for yourself and your family at any given moment. And then you also need that growth mindset, that knowledge, that hunger. And so at Ironbound, we're about more than boxing. The goal is not to be a professional boxer. The goal is to go to college, start your own business, just step out on your own, reach your potential. And we're gonna do that through Thrive. So Ironbound boxing is the boxing piece, it's the mentorship piece, and now through Thrive, we're gonna teach them that entrepreneurial spirit. We're gonna teach them that hustle with some frameworks and some knowledge. So really just a small business accelerator amongst our athletes and the community. So we're gonna build that out. And then on a personal level, I'm a Renaissance man. I was telling you, you know, I got a lot of different projects I've just kind of thrown at the wall, and a lot of them are sticking. So I got a podcast called Confessions of a Native Son, where I kind of flex my background on race and culture. Got an undergrad in history, master's in American studies. And so I've been going on that since February and just kind of sharing my perspectives on things. So growing that out, becoming a better entrepreneur, you know, really just making things work independently of me. So like I get the things going, I built the processes and the systems, and I can kind of step back,
nurture them,
and let it grow. And then also just impacting the community at scale. So I just want to, you know, I really want Ironbound to be a Newark brand. I want, like, you know, Baltimore has Under Armour, Oregon has Nike, Newark's got Ironbound.
There you go.
And that's the vision.
Where can everyone find you?
Everyone can find me on, first of all, just add me on Instagram at Iron Mike Steadman. You can also go to our website, ironboundboxing.org, sign up for the newsletter. I send tons of, I won't say I send tons, but I try to send like a newsletter bi-weekly with some good tips and updates to keep people, let people know what's going on. I also encourage people to add me on LinkedIn. It's a great professional network for us. It's been super helpful for Ironbound, especially amongst the veteran community. I'll tell y'all, we're in Newark, New Jersey right now. 99.9% of the funders we get come from the veteran community. And that's a broad range of race, ethnicities, genders, but I think people really identify with the mission, and so I'm just very thankful for that. And people can also email at mike@weareironbound.com.
Excellent, good stuff. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
it.
Appreciate it.
There you have it, guys. Iron Mike Steadman. All right, on our way to go get Mike his new Beer Club kit. Mike's got these kids out here training in the heat. Oh, I got some goodies for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, man. Awesome. Awesome. Woo.
I don't know if I'm ready to get in the ring with Mike yet.
Yeah, we're working out here today. Oh, yeah. This is awesome. Thank you. Sir.
Hey.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You got it. All right, there you have it. First episode, Mike Steadman, Marine Corps combat veteran, boxing coach, entrepreneur, absolutely crushing it, and he's bearded. Welcome to the Beer Club.